Your opinion don't mean shit. I done buried lots of friends. Coexist is what I live. I guess I can't blame anyone for the automatronic response to society oppression. Your thoughts going off, but who in the fuck do you think that you ought to be judging me? In the place of my God, you ain't above anyone. Now that I'm out, do you really know who you are? I have to pause, take a breath, ease back, get the shoes off. Matter of fact, I'ma be back with the weed bag, with the smoke till we can't see straight. Take a tab, you gon' see shapes. Hallucinate for the lighter heart, but this is a part of my job. I balance.
We're here on Lone Wolf's podcast. We're here live with Justin, aka J4Y.
J4Y.
I'm gonna let J4Y introduce himself so you guys get to know who he is.
What's going on, man? It's good to be here. I'm J4Y. Justin is my name. That's pretty much it. Start things off.
Okay. First question. How did you come up with the name J4Y? Was it like an inspiration from John Wick, or
yes? So you caught on to that. But truth be told, man, my buddy Dijon actually suggested like that name first, because I originally started with this name 2 Cents, like putting my 2 cents in. You know, like I thought like that was like, oh, play on words. That's cool.
Okay. That's from the song Taking Energy.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I also
That's
see like that is from the Taken. I see you play the guitar.
Yeah.
How long would you say you've been playing the guitar, and who inspired you to first pick up the guitar?
I've been playing for about 15 years, playing guitar. And my brother was the first person who started playing guitar before me. And I don't know, it just like looked like a lot of fun to me, and like I'm naturally like a singer and like a vocalist, because I've been singing my whole life, you know. And but he, just like watching him like kind of like discover music and kind of explore that, I wanted to do that for myself. So I picked it up after him. It just kind of like progressed a little bit like faster at first than he did and everything. So I ended up, the student became the master.
Okay. So picking up the guitar, you say you picked it up from your brother. He kind of like inspired you to do it. So how long would you say you've been playing it? From a kid, or like was it something you adopted when you was a teenager?
Like the guitar?
Yeah.
I was like I was probably about 13.
Okay.
13 or 14. And then, so it didn't get like, I didn't get like more serious about like music and like playing guitar and stuff. Like I was always like singing and stuff like that, like since I was a kid. So that was always fun for me, because that was something I was like naturally good at, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But guitar was something that that was a skill I had to learn. And I'm like self-taught. I haven't ever taken any lessons or anything like that. So I just like have been going off of like listening to my favorite songs and then figuring out how to play them by either watching like a YouTube tutorial or hearing the notes themselves and matching it to the guitar. So it kind of like opened up more so after my dad passed away, I think, because I went through that when I was 16, and that got me really like in tune with like the emotional side of music and how you can create dynamic emotion with like what you play and how the audience like perceives that too.
Okay. So with you singing, I know you sing, playing the guitar, you also rap as well.
Yeah.
With all that being said, what kind of musician would you classify yourself as?
I'm kind of like when you think about like DJing, there's something called like open format in DJing, where basically you're not really set to like a single genre, and that's what I like to do with music. I want to explore it and see how diverse it really is, because if you're going to limit yourself to any specific genre, I think that you're cutting yourself short, you know. and there's a lot of different like outlets and different like styles of music to discover, and like jazz or hip hop and or like soul, drum and bass and electronic music or house music, you know. And a lot of that comes from different cultures, you know. So like, if I don't think I could like limit myself to be like, oh yeah, I'm just a rapper, or I'm just a, you know, a country singer, or I'm just, you know, an acoustic guitarist or anything like that, because I think it's like way more dynamic than that.
Okay. So when you making music, with the guitar, singing, rapping, what inspires you to make music? Like, for instance, the song Self Love, the song Preach Peace, and the song I Hurt, which a lot of people don't really know about.
Yeah, man.
I actually like personally. What
That one's a lot of raw
inspires you?
emotion, man.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
a lot of raw emotion.
Yeah, and that's why I know it's some inspiration behind that. So like, what inspires you to make the songs that you make?
I think it's like the experiences like that I go through in life, you know, because if you listen to like my words and if you break down like my verses on what I'm saying, it's an experience, and it's either something that like I've gone through life, or like something that I've watched a friend go through life and like been able to apply that into a message, you know, moving forward. And like why I do it is like I want to be able to leave these messages and like these legacies behind for people who might be going through a similar experience, that can, you know, listen to the song and be like, oh, you know, there's some light here, you know, to like bringing light to negative experiences and stuff. So that's really my inspiration behind everything, is just trying to create like a positive impact.
So you're trying to create music that others can relate to, and in some sort of fashion help them in a way if they're going through
For sure.
the same trials and tribulations you're going through.
Yeah, like I wanna help people to like kind of open up, you know, a little bit of their mind, and kind of like see that there are limiting factors, you know, when it comes to like our thinking and conditioning, and like how we've gotten to be who we are in the experiences that have led us like to today, you know, like everything that makes up of us, you know. So, yeah.
Okay. So, my next question to you: how long have you been making music? Like, when did it originally start?
Man, I think so. When I was like really young, I was like a kid. I was in 3rd grade, and I had like my first solo, like in quarter, you know. And it was Silent Night, and that really brought me into like musical creation, you know, because like I was learning, and at the same time as learning how to use my voice to oscillate and create sound, you know. And it just like became natural like later on down the line to apply that to a musical instrument, and not only use my voice as sound, but then like use other tools as extensions of myself, and create where my mind was, you know, to create an actual manifestation of something.
Okay.
So probably not to cut you off, probably like to elaborate more is like I started creating music instead of like interpreting what was already created, you know, by covers or whatever. I started probably creating music around the 2nd year of me playing guitar, so probably by the time I was like 15 or so.
So you would say around the time you started was about 15?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say that's probably when I like started writing my own like music.
Okay.
Well, not that it was good.
Yeah.
It probably wasn't any good back then. But I don't know. I got YouTube videos out there of me at like 15, man.
Of you singing?
Yeah, for sure. Actually,
Okay.
yeah, playing guitar and singing out there. I think it's like a Jason Mraz cover or something like that, to be honest. It's got like 35,000 views, man.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I didn't know that. I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah, check it out.
So like my next question is the song "Rest in Peace."
Yeah.
What was the creative process
Oh man,
for a song like that?
that song was like you're just flying high, man. Like you're on another level. You're in that flow state, right? And you're just, I need some rest and peace. I'm living so big, I manifest destiny. I manifest destiny. You know, it's like you. It's just basically about just like living large, man, and just like trying to slow down reminding yourself to slow down.
Yeah.
This line, you know, it's like I'm like a G6 jet fuel OG, take a green hit. Out of my mind, people think that I'm crazy. I just seen some shit that'll make me. I'm like a human being with the mind of a god. Love who you are. We ain't got no time for the problems you got.
Yeah, yeah. 'Cause I even like the line where you say, everything that I touch turns into a masterpiece.
Dude. That's in the chorus, in the hook.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need some rest and peace. Been living so big, I manifest destiny. If you haven't checked that out, check that out on YouTube. That's on YouTube.
Okay. My next question. Do you have any upcoming projects that you're working on? I saw you go live via Facebook previewing a couple songs, you know, 2 new tracks that I've seen. You care to touch on those?
Yeah, for sure, man. So I just started, I just got my own workspace set up so I could really transpose what's going on up here musically, you know. So I kind of got my own little studio set up, and before I was having to rely on other people to make, you know, music for me, and that's okay too. There's nothing wrong with that. But I wanted to take it kind of under the reins, so I started doing that, and those 2 tracks that you saw on the live, and that's kind of what I've been doing too, is doing lives exclusively that I don't keep, because I want people to want to come and check out what I'm doing, you know, based on either me as a person or that they like my music or whatever, if they're just vibing to have a good time and fill up some time out of their day. But so I got those 2 tracks that I'm working on right now, but I'm building towards the bigger picture is I'm building a kind of an arsenal of songs, and probably about 20 or 30 tracks is what I'm working towards, and then I want to be able to release those kind of slowly but continuously. So Russ noticed on SoundCloud that the first track that was posted that people could listen to was the one that had the most views. And by noticing that, he kind of came up with the idea that these other tracks, because they had this trickle down effect, it was just hard to get people to listen to that second track, right? So he's like, okay, so what I'm gonna do is I know I make good music, and that's the same, I know I make good fucking music, you know. What I'm going to be doing then is building up those 20, 30 songs and start slowly releasing them on a consistent basis, probably bi-weekly, along with visuals included into that too. So along with videos, and that just creates a whole avenue of content too, with doing behind the scenes documentaries.
So you're basically gonna put out a bunch of singles with visuals that goes along.
Before I even want to put out a solid album, you know, I did an EP, Self Love. And I'm happy with it and everything, but it's not what my ear wants. And this is why I took the production into my own hands too, because me as a visionary, I hear and I see what I'm looking for in the whole project. So it's easier for me to just take the reins and make it all happen than to try and delegate to somebody else who doesn't see exactly what, you know, is in my head.
Okay.
So, but yeah, so that's kind of what I'm working with is trying to build up those sound banks, building up the visuals, and then by the time next year, starting probably in January, I'll be starting to release
January is the set date of where your fans.
That's my deadline goal, yeah, to start. And so here's the cool thing of what I'm going to be doing. While I'm doing this, obviously shows are still going to be happening and stuff. So if you ever want to hear new music from me, or if you ever want to see what I'm doing or whatever, I'll be doing Facebook Lives and everything too. But I'm going to be doing and releasing those tracks at shows before I even put them out onto the internet, so that you as your as my fans and shit, you guys can come and hear what I'm working with and hear what I'm doing before anybody else. Because I'd rather have that. I'd rather have them as the intimate
As the first
Yeah.
reaction.
I mean, those are the people that are there, that are showing up to your shows, and stuff. I think that they deserve that.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. So I'm gonna take it back. I know we touched on this in the beginning, but the song "Taking Energy."
Yeah, man.
You know, so like, can you dive into that? Like, where was you at when you made that? Like, what
Man,
inspired
so
you?
straight
to make
up, that verse wasn't even written about anything applying to my life. I'm not low-key, like, I'm not even lying, bro. Like, that was straight up what a buddy of mine was going through, that I wrote that verse, like, in accordance to how his verse, like, how he was, like, feeling in that moment, too.
Okay.
So, it was like, I'm just, like, it's the singing of, like, I'm just trying to get us on the same page. Or that's how I heard, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Taking Energy one. My bad.
It's fine.
Alright, we'll cut this part out. Energy. Taking Energy was actually, that was the first track I ever did as, like, a rap artist and released. That was me and Conclusion to God. Me and him, we used to work together at J4Y Western. And they used to, like, make silicone roof sealing, right? But, like, eventually, like, him and I just started, like, talking, like, philosophical thought and, like, super deep conversations and stuff, man. And it got to a point where, like, we both were, like I kind of, like, told him, like, oh yeah, I like to rap and stuff, and we'd sit down and we'd smoke and freestyle and stuff, and then it became this thing, like 2 years later, where we dove into, like, actually, like, trying to, like, figure this thing out artistically. And dude, we recorded that song on a broken, like, Samsung Android phone with, like, a cracked ass screen, dude, and everything, man. And so that is the rawest shit I think you could ever, like, put out, man. Because it's like, you got, like,
So
that was
strictly from a phone.
Straight from a phone, no microphone, nothing. It was like, we literally sat down and, like, rolled 2 blunts and just, like, wrote that song out. And that was it, man. And, like, I don't know, I was just like, we were feeling the inspiration in that moment. And, like, there's something, like, what happens when I write, man. It's like I go into this weird zone. It's like, it's not even, like, me necessarily, like, expressing these words sometimes. It's just, like, this weird, like, flow. Like, you tap into this flow, and it's like, dude, that's the flow state, man.
Yeah.
That's the flow state.
Yeah, so I see you work with Conclusion to God a lot. Like, you have quite a few songs with him. One of my favorite songs that you and Conclusion to God did was Rest in Peace. That in my opinion was a great song. Would you say, like, Conclusion to God is a artist that inspires you and you inspire him to make great music? Is it someone that you can see yourself?
That's like my brother, dude.
Okay.
That's my brother, because it's like you can be 100% truthful and honest. Like him and I can be like, dude, like, I'll tell him if something he's writing is shit, or vice versa. He'll tell me if something I'm writing is shit, and that's what I expect. Because I don't want to be mediocre. I want to be the fucking GOAT. Like I want to, and if I can't be the GOAT, I want to get as close as I fucking can. And without, like, support behind you when you're feeling, like, demotivated, like you can't do it or whatever, like, dude, those thoughts happen, like, to every one of us. Everybody's out here trying to make something better of themselves, and those thoughts are going to try and hold you back, like all that self-doubt. And dude, in those times, man, there's been those times that have happened to me, man, where I'm just like, dude, I don't know if this is for me, like, I'm a white dude coming into the rap scene. It's like, it's a controversial thing, And dude, Dejan just, like, he pushed me, man, to just, like, keep going. And then, like, just seeing how he moves, dude, like the moves he makes and how he networks is just like, he's so good with, like, people and building foundational things to create opportunities. That dude, that's why he's my fucking right hand man. Sure, bro.
Makes sense. So like, out of all the things you do, singing, rapping, playing musical instruments, out of all of those, which one would you say you embrace the most?
Probably singing and guitar, to be honest, because that's what I've been doing the longest. Like I started writing raps and stuff when I was like 16 in high school. Like I still got like stuff that's like, it defeats the purpose, like taking bullets for the Secret Service, but it's the worst when it's time to go down. Like some super simple shit from like back in the day, you know. But I kept with steadily like the guitar aspect and like the vocal aspect because I could write even just with my voice. And like in the times where I was fucking straight broke, like I didn't have shit, I didn't have an instrument, I didn't have anything that I could use to channel that creativity. And like going through like emotional states, like with my dad passing away and stuff like that, like when that first happened, I didn't have a guitar to play with. And like I had an ovation that I had broken because I was like mad one day, you know. And like just dealing with all that teen angst stuff, like on top of that. So yeah, no, I think that's what I stuck with most. But like I like the rawness of rapping, of the hip hop culture. It's like everything is very real. You don't have to like sugarcoat a song or like make it something that it's not, or like, you know, you can have this depth to a song that creates like the story of what is like your story. And I think people miss that too in hip hop, man. I think that's what we're seeing in this wave of like really good art, like really talented artists coming out of Milwaukee, coming out of Atlanta, coming out of Minnesota. Like there's some really, really good real artists out there.
Yeah, it is. I can agree with you on that. Like I believe there's a lot of talent here in Wisconsin in general. But you know,
yeah, I shouldn't even
that's
just say Milwaukee, to be honest. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that would be an understatement. It's the entire Wisconsin.
yeah, because it's a lot of talent
Woodage.
here. But it's just they don't have the platforms or the connection or even the knowledge of what to do. That's kind of what we're trying to do here at Longwood Podcast, is promote local artists, local business owners, peer counselors, whatever.
Yeah, man,
And
I love what you're doing here, man.
Yeah,
you're,
just
again, you too
thank
are
you.
creating opportunity for others too, man. In that way,
yeah.
so grateful.
Yeah, and I'm just starting off doing it, you know, and I appreciate having you here, you know,
For
and
sure,
having
man.
the guests that I had on here so far.
I'm happy to be here, man. For
Yeah,
sure.
appreciate it. We gotta bring you back for a part 2 then.
Yeah, dude, I'm game. I'm game. You got my number.
Okay, so with the singing, when did you know, okay, I can sing?
Dude, okay. All right, I was in the Bahamas. I was a kid. My mom raised us as a single mom. My parents were divorced. My dad passed away when I was 16, but my dad like didn't pay us child support and stuff like growing up. He tried the best he could, but you know how it is. And so my mom, working her ass off, doing like 3 jobs, bought us like a trip, me and my brother and her, to go down to the Bahamas. And I'm like, I hop into this bar at night, it's like 11 o'clock, right? And I'm like, I think I'm 11 years old. And like, this is what, like before it was all fun, you know? But like, I was really inspired by the Beatles growing up. And that was like the first band the first rock band that I listened to, you know? And I was like, oh dude, this is some conscious shit. Like, this is some cool shit. And so I sang Let It Be, I think. It was either Let It Be or Hey Jude. And dude, the bartender of the karaoke just started like handing my mom wine bottles. like I won a contest or something, but it was like I brought that many people into the bar just for me like doing that singing thing. And I didn't realize like I had any talent or anything like that. But that's when I knew I could sing. Mm-hmm. But I don't think I really like started appreciating it until recently.
Yeah. So like you would say you just started to embrace it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like fully know, like, dude, I'm fucking capable of some, like, and not like in an egoic, you know, conceited sort of way. Like
in a way to where you like when you was younger, you like I can sing,
Yeah.
but you're not quite.
But it wasn't like
confirmed.
honing the craft, yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna take it back again for a second. You know, the song Taking Energy. I want to touch on that a little bit more because I do understand, like, it's a verse in that song where you made about your father.
Yeah.
Your father passed away. Do you care to touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, man. That song is just about, just like, dude, like life taking your energy, like all the whole verse is about like every single line is a struggle that has happened, or that, you know, people go through, or that I myself have gone through. You know, like late to work and now I can't afford to put the food up on top of my plate. You know, the car broke down, I can't afford to register plates. You know, like, that's the day-to-day struggle, man. And I had all that shit happen to me too, man. It took me like a year to get my plates re-registered on my car, man, because I couldn't afford it. You know,
Yeah.
the system is just.
So your father passing away was you say
Struggle.
a big impact
Oh,
on your life.
huge, man, huge. It was. I think that's like, dude, a lot of people in my culture don't know loss to the level that I myself know it. And like they do, don't get me wrong, but it's like some people haven't experienced it, and you know, and dude, like losing somebody that is supposed to be like your idol, right? Like growing up, like that's dad, right? Like that's your hero. Like losing that at 16, dude, like you're like, dude, I won't get to see me graduate. You know, he won't be there for my graduation. He won't be there for my marriage. He won't be there for my kids being born. You know, that sort of thing. So it's like, all those things is like that like I had to think about all of those things when that happened. You know, and like, dude, so my dad passed away December 23rd of 2008 in a car accident, and he was on his way to work, passed a semi that was like blowing up a snowdrift, and when he passed the semi, there was another white Ford F-250 coming in the opposite direction. They hit head on, and not to like bring it down or anything. You know, it's been 13 years now, and I've come full circle and been totally solid on like accepting that and being okay with it, because we're all getting there, man. You know, it's just like you don't spend every day thinking about it, like, oh, is it today? You know, it don't matter. This is just nothing. This is nothing, man. This is what my dad used to say. He's like, this is just a vessel. This is a vessel for the soul. It's a vehicle for the soul, you know. And where the body, anything temporal of this earth, you know, anything bodily here or of material is gonna fade. It's gonna grow old. It's gonna deteriorate. It's gonna weaken, whatever, and it's gonna turn to ash and then get recycled.
So I noticed you said at 16 is when that happened.
Yeah.
So would you say, like, when that happened, was your father sort of a more inspiration to get your music done?
Yes and no.
To be a musician?
Well, yes and no. I think at that point in my life, like, I wasn't even worried about music. You know, I dropped off for a while. I was like, you know, because you're trying to understand that, and especially like trying to understand. You're also at the same time at that age, like figuring out your whole fucking emotional structure. You know, like you're trying to figure out like what are all these emotions like coming into my mind? Why do I feel this way about this thing or that thing? What are all these, you know, different chemicals in my body and all that stuff, you know? So I think my mind was definitely focused more so on just trying to get through like that stage in my life than music, and it took me to some dark places, you know. Yeah. Like I found a lot of outlets of escape that weren't necessarily beneficial, you know, for me and stuff, and that's another conversation for another day.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
So I want to touch on the Self-Love EP. Would you care to talk about the songs like Superior Love, Diamond Hands, and any more logos?
So the Self-Love EP, I had this whole plan planned out for this thing, man, and I had to go through two different producers, sadly, and you know, not bad mouthing any of them by any means, you know. It's just, it wasn't exactly what I wanted, so, you know, I had gone to a friend of mine that was more along the musical lines of like what I had in mind, you know, and that was fine, you know. And it turned out good, to the way that I wanted, like a little bit closer to what I wanted it, but not 100% like there, but also because I you know, I had to use music that was from other people too, and it didn't, it's not that it didn't fit, it's just that like the way that I think about music and stuff is just much different from other people, and it's a different style, you know. And so I went and re-recorded it all in a day. So every single song on that track was all recorded in the same day.
Oh, wow. So how long would you say that process took you? 5 hours?
5 hours. I was in the studio doing.
So you was going hard at it.
Yeah. 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 So, but the original one took 3 different sessions. So we went 3 different days and did like a 2-hour session, and then another 2-hour session, and then a 3-hour session.
Okay.
And it was cool. Like that studio is amazing, and it was great and everything. It didn't work out the way that I had envisioned it, so I had just taken it somewhere else, and it's no fault to the producer or anything. I think too, like I was a little passive at that point too, so I really wasn't like comfortable with being like, no, I don't like the way that sounds, and trying to like put my words into it, because you don't want to tell a producer like what to do. You know, like that's their game, right? Like just like I wouldn't expect a producer to tell me how to write lyrics. You know what I mean? So it's like, so you know, you don't want to step on people's toes, but ultimately I think now it's like, I'm comfortable with just being like, no, I'm in my own space.
Okay.
But yeah, so Superior Love is my favorite track on that album.
That's your number one favorite one out of all of them.
Yeah. And the inspiration for that one is just like...
You care to touch on why?
Yeah. Well, that one, it's just like the vocal melody behind it. It's just like, it's soothing to listen to. And it's got like a soul, kind of a soul to it too. And I do some like falsetto like melodies in there too, that like I don't put auto-tune or anything on my voice, not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just something I don't prefer to do, you know. Because I like the rawness. I like to like hear the mistakes. I like to hear all of it, you know. So so that one was more so feeling like into the soul of like the universe, and like trying to talk about like yeah, superior love is more than enough. You know, if you can like put unconditional love at the top of the pedestal, like people can't do any wrong. You don't got any expectation of people. You know, you're just here for one another, trying to build each other up. You're not rooting for somebody else to fail. You know.
Okay. What about the song Diamond Hands?
That one.
Yeah. Care to touch on that?
That one I wrote during COVID.
So was you on quarantine?
Yeah, no, I wasn't on quarantine. You know, I was still working and everything.
Okay.
But that one, I named it Diamond Hands because it's like I learned all about the money. Now I'm putting it to practice. Like that's the line in the chorus, and I wrote that because in February I helped my brother and his wife like do an investment into the GameStop movement. And we had made some pretty good money on that. so that's why I named that one Diamond Hands, because that flow is just like, it's on point, you know. If you listen to the like, hello, 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 hell no, goodbye, hell no. I go insane sometimes, I don't know where these words come from. I keep it on lockdown like COVID, dope sickness is a little bit inconsiderate, not to identify the cadaver in the body as cold as this.
Chris. Okay.
Yeah, bro. Well,
okay, Chris.
Yeah, oh yeah, dude, that beat too, I just want to shout out real quick, that beat was produced by Chris Sacco.
Okay.
Yeah, he produced Diamond Hands, and he produced the beat for Logo for that one too.
Okay, shout out Chris. Shout out to Chris. Yeah, thank you for coming today.
Dude, no problem, man. Happy to be here.
Tell the people where they can follow you at. If there's any questions, you know, anyone has for J4Y specifically, you know, features, or if you're interested in working with him as an artist, you can follow him at J4Y on Instagram and Justin Palmer on Facebook.
Yeah, if you need to direct
YouTube
contact
as well.
me, you can look me up, Justin Palmer, on Facebook.
Yeah, so I'll let Justin give a shout out if you have any special shout outs you want to give to anyone. Now is the time.
Dude, for sure. And I just want to say thank you to you too, man, for bringing me on. This has been fun, man. I had a lot of fun with this, man. This is super cool, man. This setup is great. Like, seriously, man.
Thank you.
I can see you put a lot of work into it, man.
Yeah, a lot of work, hard work.
So you can look me up on YouTube, J Wick. It's spelled J4Y WICK. Instagram is J4Y WICK. Facebook is just J Wick. Facebook.com/J Wick J4Y. And I'm not up on Spotify yet. I got 2 songs. Rest in Peace. But I will be soon. So I'm gonna be working on distribution for for Self Love, so I can put that up on Spotify too. Yeah, I think that's it. SoundCloud too. J Wick.
Let's go. Let's go. I took a flight to Vegas. I was just trying to get famous. I spent a couple of thousand. I took it up, no faded. I'm in the land, you know I'm bringing the fam. Fuck what you had, how can I been? You got a strap, you know what they say, we gon' give you the death. I took a cap in the stand, the party about to begin. You're the type of man who loses the guy again. We hustle the fuck, all of you bitches pretend. Is it irrelevant? We are better than the beans. Surviving like with a relevant meaning. Or maybe I'm tripping for something I'm eating. I just don't know. Stop at the beat drop off. You call me by this home. Everything that I touch can return to. Go to a way and you